Before we get into this episode, I just want to dedicate this one to the wholesome animal meme group. You know who you are. I don't want to say the names, but you know who you are. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. Okay, welcome to the Voncast show. This is the Voncast show. Today I have Kyra and Miso of Shiba Block Pawty. How's it going today?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hi, Miso.
You're having a good time.
Yeah,
Having a good time, guys.
So, I guess we'll start with you kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm a student. I'm 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, really, I'm a dog mom, and that's
Okay.
I'm always talking about my dogs, and that's kind of how I got into Shiba Block Pawty. I don't know. I'm really a hustler. I dabble in a lot of stuff.
Right. Okay. And Miso, how are you doing today? What's up? Nice.
Yeah,
Good to
he's having a good time, guys.
Yeah. So this is a Shiba, right? What is, for those who don't know, what is a Shiba Inu?
Okay, so Shiba is a Japanese dog. If you've seen Hachi, have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
Okay, it's a really sad movie. That dog is like an Akita. So those are really close relatives to Shibas.
Right.
These dogs honestly are pretty cat-like.
Yeah.
So they act like cats. They're just, they're very to themselves.
Right.
And they're very stubborn, and that's what they're known for.
I've noticed that with Shibas, the ones I've encountered, where they're very a one person or one family type of dog.
Yeah.
They're not the type to really go out there. They're not as, I guess, not social, but outgoing as labs or anything.
No, yeah, they're just. Well, we got lucky with him because we adopted him, and he loves me. But my other dog is not Shiba-like, as they say, so she's more crazy.
Right.
But he's, to himself.
What's her name?
Sesame. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, how did you get into Shibas? It seems like you're very into Shibas.
Yeah, so basically I was just obsessed with Shibas because of the Doge meme.
Me too.
Okay, everybody knows about the Doge meme,
Okay.
so I was like, these dogs are so cute. I went to Vegas and they had a Shiba puppy, so then I got a Shiba puppy, and then after that, I was just obsessed with them because they're so they have such a good character.
Me too.
I feel like they just, they just have a character to them that I have met other dogs that I don't really feel the same, I guess, charisma, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then just because I have two now, so it's just my entire life just revolves around my children.
That's good. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember it was 2012. Doge meme was one of the original. I'm talking about Why You Know, Futurama Fry, not sure. Boromir meme, the Philosopher Frog. No. Pepe. Philosopher Velociraptor. Just to name some.
Yeah, just they're just so memeable. Look at them.
Yeah.
Just look at them.
Wow, much thirst. Very, very tired.
I know.
Much timid.
Yeah, but that's really why I got into Shibas. It's just they were just so popular.
Yeah. My graduation cap, it has the Doge meme. And wow, much graduate, very success.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that Shiba passed away.
I did not know that.
Oh, sorry.
Press that for respect.
Yeah, press that for respect. The dog was 16. I remember I looked at the backstory. There was a photo shoot of that dog, and that one picture really captured that meme.
Yeah.
So we can talk about I guess one of your hustles is Shiba Block Pawty. Thank you for the pin. $10 for Venmo.
Right here, the shirts.
Tell us about Shiba Block Pawty.
Okay, yeah. So the idea for that was, do you know what Corgi Beach Day is?
I don't. Oh,
okay.
no, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so basically that's been around for whatever, like a handful of years.
Right.
So basically a bunch of Shibas would like always go to Corgi Beach Day because like we didn't really have like our own kind of thing.
Right.
So I've had Shibas for like 2 years now. And then we have like our own like little hike group. Like it's crazy. Like we'll go hike and then like all of us have Shibas. And that's just how we all met, is like we all have dog Instagrams.
Yeah.
So then that's how all of us would meet. We would go hike, we'd go eat, whatever. And then I was like, hey, like, you know, it'd be cool as if like we had like a Shiba Beach Day.
Yeah.
So like this was probably like a year and a half ago that like I came up with this idea. It was originally Shiba Beach Day. And then I like pitched it to my friend and I just came like really busy. So she was like, oh, like, you know, if you don't mind, I'll try to start it. So she was like, yeah, like I'll keep you in the loop. And I was like, all right. So she's like, we started this Facebook event and it was Shiba Beach Day. So we're like, okay, like it's gonna be a free event. Originally we didn't intend for it to be like large. So we were just like, oh yeah, like we'll just have like our own group that always comes and we'll just all go to the beach. And then like literally in like 3 days, it just went viral. So then it hit like, you know, like 200,000 like engagement reach. And then we were like, oh. And then by this time, like there were probably like almost 10,000 people that were like replying, like going maybe or like interested or whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, we can't do that anymore. It's been like in the works for like an entire year.
Right.
So we kind of like had to trash the idea of like the beach day just because it was like really expensive. Because if we did the event free, we would just need a bunch of sponsors.
Right.
And then the sponsors, like, it's kind of hard because we haven't done like an event before. So we're like, okay, you know, like let's just do a kind of like a pop-up museum just because like, you know, that's really in trend right now. It's like museum of ice cream kind of thing.
Right.
And then yeah, that's how it was born. So now Shiba Block Pawty, October 6th.
Where's it at?
It's in like Filipino town, so near like the Echo Park area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in a warehouse.
Okay. How did you end up getting that location? How does one, you know, if they want to start like an something party or like a block party?
So I brought my brother on to help me because I was just like, all right, this is too much.
Yeah.
And my brother's like a UCLA graduate. He was a part of like the campus events committee.
Right.
So he has like experience with events. I believe he found the warehouse on like Peerspace.
Okay.
Which is just like, it's a website that you just like go on and you're like, oh, I want to get a warehouse that can fit 500 people, and then like you go check it out. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you were saying you're a hustler. Tell us about like what made you become like a hustler. I mean, when I say hustler, it's like there's a negative connotation that they're all drug dealers. Some are, which do your thing. But you know, what made you have this ambition, this motivation to dabble in different things?
Honestly, I want to say like money was the biggest motivator. Right. Just because I'm 20, so I graduated from high school like 2 years ago. Honestly, like I did horribly in high school. I did really bad in high school, almost didn't graduate. I like barely had like a 2.0. And you know, a lot of people like underestimated me just because like I was not doing well in high school. And then when I graduated and went to like city college, it just like everything just turned around for me. Like I did really well in school, and I was like, you know what, like I can make money. So really, like where my hustle kicked off was like I have an essay writing business, and that's really like where it took off.
Really?
Yeah, like for some reason, I guess a lot of people just need their essays done.
Yeah.
So that was something that like not a lot of people have like tapped into, I guess. And I just like I literally wrote a tweet. Lucky me, that also went viral, and then that's like how I built like my entire client base, and then from there it's just like word of mouth.
Okay.
And then, you know, Shiba Block Pawty. I mean, that's more like a passion project, I guess, just because like I love dogs.
Right.
But I mean, that kind of, you know, plays into that same kind of idea of like hustling.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just feels good, you know, to like continuously like have something to do and stay busy and, you know, make money if like you can. And yeah, that's.
No, I get you. You know, high school education, it's great, but you really can't like determine your life based on it. I mean, you know, maybe when you're in high school at the time, oh my God, my life is over kind of thing. But a lot of entrepreneurs or hustlers, they weren't that great at school.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe it might be like the rigid structure that you're so independent that having this set schedule that may not work for you, waking up early and doing things you don't want to do may not work for you. So that's totally understandable.
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of, a lot of people talk about it. It's like a one size fit all, like everyone's tested the same, everyone has to like follow the same schedule. Because like reality is like my mental health just was not good in high school, and that was just the sole reason why I did so poorly.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's not, reflective
Of course.
Your actual potential if you're going through it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a bit older, so like when I was in high school, social media was just popping off. Like MySpace was big. I mean, I was a scene kid, all with the lip rings and everything, super like all that. Facebook was clowned on because you need an EDU address, email address to have Facebook. So I'm like, fuck Facebook, it's all MySpace. You can customize everything. And for us at the time, social media was like it was barely there. AIM was still around. So I can only imagine when social media is up and running, you're like almost like born into it in a sense.
Yeah.
I can see like the negative mental effects social media has. So I can't even imagine what it's like being in high school and having that pressure on top of typical high school pressure, cliques and everything. So yeah, definitely that can definitely make a big impact on mental health.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because I do social media for like work, like I like do content creation and whatnot, and it's like I literally have all the social media like notifications on my phone off. Yeah. So like when people message me, like I don't know, but it's just because like you said, I did notice that I was constantly checking my phone, and like that was just making me less productive. I was like, oh, like there's a notification, like I have to look at it right now. Right. And then, it actually did like stun my mental health, so everything's off. Kind of ironic, but it's like,
I think that's the best thing. I have my text notifications off because I don't like text messaging. Like I get some weird like, I'll tell you off camera why, but I get some like weird like anxiety when I get text messages, so the notifications are off, and I check them when I want to check them, if I want to check them.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that's what you got to do if you're into social media. You got to have the notifications off, because you can go in like a social media like wormhole, like a K-hole, so they say, like of just just checking and looking at memes for like hours.
Yeah, literally.
Before you know it, the sun's up. Like fuck, dude, I'm having my night.
Yeah, because even with my notifications off, like I still find myself on Twitter and I'm like, hey, like this is funny, and I'll just like keep doing it, and it's just like it's like 4 a.m. Still looking at like the same memes, and like by this time everyone's asleep.
Right. So we were talking about earlier, like you had a post that says hustle culture, sounds like burnout culture, and like you gotta take a break. Can you talk to us about that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think just like for myself personally, it was, I'm a student, and there's that like stigma of like, oh, like all college students are broke. Yeah. And I just hated that. I was like, because I was broke, and it was like, that was kind of what brought me into hustle culture, was like, oh shit, like, you know what, like I can afford to go on vacation like at the age of 19. It's like, oh, you know what, like I could actually buy like my own plane tickets, or I could pay my bills, that kind of thing. So then that's like, that really like prompted me to just like literally bust my ass and just continue to work. But then it obviously like that takes a toll, because at one point I was like literally for probably like 3 or 4 months straight where I was making like a lot of money, but then I was sleeping for like 2 to 3 hours a day. And then it was like great, like the money is really good, but then I can't enjoy it because I'm literally like burning myself out so hard. And then that's something that I kind of tried to do like this summer. It was like, I'm just trying to like relax, and like I have a certain amount of money saved up so that I don't have to work like my ass off and barely get any sleep. I definitely think hustling is good, but you need a break to, like recharge. Just because after a while I was just so like, I was really burnt out, and I was just like, oh, like the money is not worth it anymore. Because people say like, oh, like money can buy happiness, because it's like money can like pay for your bills and it can do this. And then that was like the first time where I was like, damn, maybe money actually cannot buy happiness. And then that was kind of wild for me to say, because I was like, but I can go on vacation, but it was like, I really can't, because I'm piling my work so high that I don't have time to do anything.
Right. I agree. Money is great, like just security and comfort in it, but to what extent? Like you can enjoy the money, like if your mental health is kind of, it's not there. I mean, I guess you can like go get therapy with that money, but yeah, definitely. I think that we live in a capitalistic culture where money and status and material items are so, it's so prized, and that some people just really, I mean, like, you know, it's cool, like you feel productive and everything, but we forget to take care of ourselves, like self-care.
Yeah.
There's such a big buzzword, oh, self-care this, self-care that. You know, self-care is like getting, you know, taking care of yourself as in like getting a decent amount of hours of sleep. You know, like eating right and everything. And when you're on the go and doing all this stuff, it's really difficult.
Yeah, guys, if you can get therapy, go to therapy. Yeah. Because honestly, I was like in denial about it for so long. I was like, no, like I'm good. Like I don't need therapy. I'm just like overworking. And then I like went to therapy finally after like God knows how many years I've been putting it off. And then she was like, all right, like so what do you do for like yourself? And I was like, work. I was like, I don't know, like work. Yeah. And she was like, no, but like self-care, like what does that look like for you? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah. So that's, you know, that was the product of hustle culture. I was very obsessed with like working. And then now I'm trying to learn how to like, you know, take care of myself. And it's hard. So don't work yourself to death. Yeah. If you can get help, get help.
There's that, don't work too hard kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, one thing that struck to me, you said, for someone your age, you saved money. Where did you? That's rare, because when I was your age in general, still I don't really save so much. But talk to us about the importance of saving. I mean, it's so easy, right? Like you said, when you were kind of broke at the time, and now you have this money, you can buy a bunch more stuff than you could back then. How did you tell yourself, hey, maybe I shouldn't buy this or buy that? Like, how did you prioritize these things?
I think the main reason why I saved so much money was because I had no time to do anything else. Right. So it was like, all I really spent money on was like food, which I was like, cool, like I can afford like sugarfish. Like I'm gonna eat good, but then it's, you know, I'm like eating like once or twice a day because I'm working all the time and I don't get hungry. But I mean, at this point now, I was like, okay, now like I deserve to like kind of, you know, spend my money since I made that money. Right. I mean, it's all just about like necessity and like wants, I guess. Like in my opinion, I don't deserve to go on a vacation like every month, even if I could afford it. I can't. But it's like, even if I made that much money, I'm not gonna like, I don't think I deserve to go on vacation every month. So it's more just like, what do you actually need? So like, you know, bills. Because my thing is like I was always very paranoid that I was gonna get like into some like kind of emergency situation where I would like need to pay like a bunch of money. So I was like, oh, you know, like what would happen if like my car broke down or you know whatever, and then I don't have money for it. Which like actually it did happen because like last month like my car just like crapped out and I need to spend like, you know, over $1,000 over like, you know.
We had the money, which is great.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I just take it out of my savings and I'm like, cool. Like it hurts to take it. It kind of hurts to take money out of my savings. I think that's something that like I programmed into myself that made it really easy for me to save. Is like every time I took money out, it would like hurt me a little because I'm I spent all that time like putting in, you know, X amount of money, Y amount of money, and it's like when you take it out, you're like, damn, like all of that work and you're just gonna like waste it on, you know.
But it's an emergency,
dinner or whatever, yeah. But then when it's like an emergency, you're like, oh, okay, like it's a little better. But if you're taking it out and it's like to go to eat with like your friends or something, I guess that's how I saved money. Is like it hurts a little bit to spend money on stuff that I know I don't need. Yeah. I just recently got this job where I'm making more money. I just have to be really careful because I found myself like going out with friends a bit more because I never did that before. Yeah. And like I'm treating them out because they always treated me out. So I felt like, okay, after this week, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna lay back. I'm like treating people out. But it feels nice. Yeah. You know, I totally understand because that's how I am too. I'm like, all right, well, everything's on me. Yeah. It's like shit. Yeah, everything. You know, that's awesome that you have that instilled in your head at 20. You seem like you're very good at finances. I mean, obviously through like trial and error, but that's really cool. You know, I did a project. I mean, I'm an Asian American Studies major, and learned that Asian Americans utilize mental health services the least. You know, there's a stigma with like, you know, oh, you're not like, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head kind of thing.
It's interesting because I didn't know when I moved here from Philippines. I didn't know what anxiety was or anything. I didn't realize I had it until like, oh shit, I kind of do have it. You know?
Yeah.
And like family members. I mean, I never like showed them like the signs, but I don't think they were too receptive about it. If I brought it up to them, you know, like, does ADD exist in like Asia? Does it exist in other places, kind of thing? And what is depression? And you know, and yeah, those things can kind of add up when you're, you know, like you said, doing hustling and everything. Are you? So I assume that you're like really good at English and everything, right? You have to be. Really
I could always be better. I wouldn't say I'm like great at it. I'd say like I'm better than like the average person.
I mean, let's say you're good at writing essays.
Yeah.
How did you always have a knack for writing essays? Did you like writing essays when you like were in school, high school?
Honestly, I feel like I've always kind of liked writing ever since I was probably like in elementary school.
Okay.
Like in elementary school, I would kind of like do these fake little like books. Like I would write my own like little books, right? And it, like mind you, they're like 6 pages long, but that's kind of just like shows my interest. And then like as I got older, I noticed that English was the only class I did not struggle in.
Right.
Because it was like I'm really not good in like anything like STEM related. Like I'm just like really bad at it. I'm really bad at math. I'm really bad at like sciences, and English was the only thing I was like good at. And in high school, like I said earlier, like I was really bad in high school. The only thing I really did good in was English. I was like, I could write essays, that for sure. I know I could do, because even if I fail all the rest of like my tests, I'm still gonna get an A on my essay for sure.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got into like an essay writing business. And then in college, like I was doing my essay writing, and then I was actually a communications major, and then I ended up switching to English because I was like, wait, like I hate comms, you know? I was like, I like English, so let's just do that.
What is comms exactly? It's such a broad term.
Honestly, like it is a broad term, and I feel like at least what I was like learning in school was like it was not that interesting to me. Like I feel like everyone just goes into it because they don't really know like what else to do.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, like let me just do communications because then you can do like a lot of other stuff like PR, you know, stuff like that. So then that's why I went into it, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I still don't really know what I wanted to do, but you know, when you think about it, it's like, how often does like your degree actually relate to like your job?
Doesn't know. I mean, there's a big percentage of people that get degrees if they do something totally different from it. People ask me all the time, like, what do you do with an Asian American Studies degree? Because it's like, it's not STEM related. And I'm like, well, I can do anything I want to. I mean, some employers are more like, well, you don't have a science degree to qualify for this. But usually I think from what I've heard from a professor that all it says, all it cares about a degree is that like, it shows that you're committed, that you can show up on time and like do and meet deadlines and whatnot. That's what like school really is, a big deadline, you know. Like spring semester, fall semester, this is due then, this is due now. I relate to the fact that I was only really good at English as well.
Yeah.
I grew up horrible at math, and I thought there was something wrong with me because I'm Asian. You know, like in high school, my cohort at the time in junior high, they're trying to get in like Ivy League schools and like SATs and PSATs. I'm like, yo, you just want to chill? Oh no, sorry, we're busy. I'm like, oh shit, you guys are really taking it seriously. Maybe I should take it seriously.
That's exactly how I was.
I failed like math, algebra 2 a couple times over summer. I failed I failed remedial math here. Well, I kind of lost focus, but it like boggles my mind how people would say like, this is so easy. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, am I stupid or something? Like
especially like when you're kind of forced into that, you know, like stereotype. And like, aren't you supposed to be smart? I'm like, I am, just like I'm not good at math, you know. I hate that that's like the determiner of like your intelligence is like STEM.
Chemistry too. I think I had STEM majors in the beginning. I think just to appease my parents subconsciously, because like I don't know, did bio in the beginning, and I got into food for one summer watching Food Network, and I'm gonna do like food, like dietitian, nutrition. I didn't realize you gotta do math for that shit. Like, I thought we were just talking about, like, how to cook stuff. But there's, like, math, chemistry, and I'm like, fuck that. Business, too. Okay, like, I do music. Let me do business marketing. but then to do business, to do marketing and business, you have to do all the math shit first.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, what? I did college, I barely passed stats, and then, what was it, like, business calculus? I don't know, man. I get aggravated thinking about it. Like, what I would do with tests, I don't know about you, I would have the right answer, I would second guess it, I'd erase it.
Yeah, and then just get the wrong answer on the second time.
I don't know if it's test anxiety or what, but then Asian American Studies, no math, thank God. But I will say, I think what you're probably pretty good at is emotional intelligence, like how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And like I think that's a big thing, because you can be the most quote unquote brightest and smartest person in the room, but if your person to person skills are really shitty, no one wants to work with you. Like, fuck that. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather work with someone who's not as smart than someone who's super smart but doesn't know how to communicate and like treat people with respect. So I think that's what I'm good at, communication and like people building.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are like skills that are kind of overlooked because they're not STEM.
Yeah.
They're not quantifiable by like math problems and shit. But yeah, that's interesting. Were you forced to do like math stuff, or did you have expectations from family to like be like a lawyer or like a doctor?
Honestly, like, I kind of grew up with, like, I feel like Vietnamese parents kind of fall into, like, two groups. So it's you either get, like, the tiger parents where they're like, you have to be a doctor, this, that, or you get, like, the thug Vietnamese parents that kind of, like, are just, like, do whatever you want, like, just get a good job. They don't really care how you get there, just, like, they don't care about A through Z, they just care about A to Z, like, just as long as, like, you get there kind of thing. So, I got lucky with, like, the thug Vietnamese parents where they kind of themselves had, kind of, like, tough, like, upbringings. So then they're not really expecting us to, like, I guess go into medical. It's ironic because both my parents ended up in medical, even though they did like kind of have, a tough like upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's like why they trust us so much.
Right.
My brother is like 8 years older than me, and he graduated from UCLA, but as a graphic designer.
Okay.
So I feel like that, and he's like, he's doing well. He like lives on his own and everything. So I feel like because of that, they just know like, whatever you're gonna do, like. I feel like they put enough trust in us to know that like we're not gonna fail what we do, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's interesting that you said that. There's two dichotomies of like Asian parenting.
Yeah.
We only know, most of us, we only see one, tiger mom
exactly.
meme, the white, like the unimpressed Asian dad.
Yeah.
Meme. But I think there are like more chill parents. I think my parents were pretty chill. It's just I was like really bad. So like, looking back compared to like other Asian parents, parents are pretty chill. My dad was like, I don't care, like, they just pass, like get like a B or something.
Exactly. That's how my parents were too.
But no, that's interesting, and I think that a lot of Asian American students have like, this pressure on them. For those that have those tiger mom, tiger dad expectations, it's really tough, and like mental health thing too. It's like I read a lot of suicides happen among Asian American communities, or Asian communities.
Mm-hmm.
Students, they fail a test or a semester, they'll kill themselves.
Yeah.
I think we gotta change that. How did you get into ACN? That's how I met you, ACN LA.
Yeah, so I knew Michelangelo, who was like the former city manager, I think, of ACN LA. No.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah, so how did I even meet him? Honestly, I don't remember how I met him, but he's like cousins with like one of my best friends.
Okay.
Maybe that's how we met. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably how we met. But I mean, honestly, I don't necessarily consider myself like a creative, because when I think of creative, I always think of like a more like artsy kind of like deal, like an artist or like a musician or like a poet or something like that. I just feel like I'm not that creative, even though I'm like a business owner, and by like technicality, I guess like that's creative.
I think you are. I think ACN is also entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But so that's how you got to ACN.
Yeah, basically Michael just told me to join, and I was like, alrighty, and then I joined, and then everyone ended up being really cool,
Yeah. Same. I mean, how did I do it? I think I got into it through Soul Asian Traits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Soul Asian Traits, and then someone tagged me like, oh, someone invited me to go to ACN,
ACN.
and then someone invited me to go like to ACN LA, because ACN is like nationwide. ACN LA is obviously LA, and for those who don't know, Asian Creative Network.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that's the first time I've seen so many Asian creatives in a room. I didn't think it existed. Oh, there's other people like me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say the audience, the reason why we're like that is because Asians are stereotyped as like nerdy, square.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but we're more than that, you know?
Yeah.
I think it really hurts us when it's like, oh, you do creative stuff, but aren't you Asian? Like.
Yeah, for sure. The model minority myth, y'all.
Yeah.
If you don't know about that, that's this whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it sounds cool, like, oh, you're supposed to be smart and you're like automatically smart, you do well in school, and that sounds great, but for those who don't, it's really tough. Like you and I struggle through similar situations where like we don't think we're like smart or capable.
Yeah.
When our peers, I don't know about teachers, but our family has these high expectations.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just like, I feel like that's just such a big like fundamental part of like being Asian is like we're forced to believe that like if you're not smart, like you're basically useless. That's basically like the entire thing, and that really sucks. But I mean, if you recognize it, I think it's like cool to recognize like, you know, that we are just simply like, that's just a product of stereotyping.
Right.
But yeah.
Are you an ENFP? You know those
I am an NJ.
What's in there?
Commander.
What is it? What's the
ENTJ.
ENTJ. What does that mean?
No idea.
No idea.
I've just taken the test and I was like, yeah,
Okay.
I mean that sounds pretty accurate.
Like for me, ENFP was like you're a campaigner, you're like a people person. But the thing is, like, you can't do practical tasks, stuff, and you have a hard time focusing. And I have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
Did you ever use those fidget spinners?
I had them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was just like more of a toy than anything for me. But yeah.
Those are cool. Like, I think some people like use them in class. Oh, it's to help you focus, but you're not focused on the lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what advice do you have for people, for Asians or whatever, people in general? Or no, let me get on some like my
circle back
gender shit. Like, do you feel like there's any opposition or challenges you face as a female entrepreneur or hustler?
I think like part of it is like getting underestimated. I think that's just like, you know, that's just like as a woman, that's just how I feel in mostly everything, because like a lot of people don't expect it. Because usually like when like I introduce myself to people, I'm not gonna be like, hey, like I'm Kyra and you know, I own like this and this and this. It's just they don't really know what I do. But you know, like when other people like they're like, oh, like Kyra, she owns like, you know, these like she owns like a business and she makes a lot of money, this that. Then people are kind of like, oh, like I didn't expect that. And it's also because like the way I look, like my hair is pink, like I have tattoos, and like my makeup, you know, and a lot of people just like kind of assume that I'm dumb. So they like look at me and they're like, oh, she looks like, you know, she probably just like raves and disappoints her family. But it's like that's kind of just like what people think. They're like, oh, like, you know, a lot of people assume that I'm dumb.
I do more than just rave and disappoint my family.
Yeah, like I do more than just disappoint my parents.
Yeah,
I own 2 businesses.
There you go. I think that's, and I think maybe your age too, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like honestly, just like everything. It's like like I'm Asian, I'm 20, I'm a woman, I'm like political, so like people think I'm like sensitive, right? And then it's like I like come to the table with all this stuff, and it's like people just underestimate me. I think that's like the biggest thing, but then at the same time I kind of like to be underestimated, because then it's like more of like a slap in the face to them, because they're like, oh yeah, like she looks stupid, this that, and I'm like, no, actually, like I'm an officer like at my like honors program, and like I own these businesses, and I'm a dog mom. You know, it's like it's good to kind of like just like unload all of that information, because then they're like, oh shit, you know, and then like they're impressed. But other than that, I don't think in my profession anyways, like with like the dog event or like with writing essays that I really come across like any like discrimination or anything. I think if I ever like moved into like a more corporate situation, I'm sure I would face like more, you know, more issues. But
yeah, 'cause I noticed like I think like I think people see you as a creative and it's just how you dress and your tattoos and stuff.
Probably.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, so do you have any advice for people who want to get into like entrepreneurship or who feel like they're not really good in high school or in school, like are they dumb? Do you have any advice for them on how to like, I don't know, figure it out? Kind of thing?
Yeah, I think honestly like no one is really dumb. I feel like we're all a little dumb in something. I really don't think that everybody is like stupid. Like I just really don't believe that. I think if you find your niche, like there's some way to profit off of that. So it's like, because people come up to me for advice and like friends or like mutuals or whatever, and they're like, hey, like you're like the side hustle queen. Like do you have any advice on how like I can make more money? And it's like ultimately my own advice is like kind of like useless, I guess, because I can't like dictate and tell you like, oh, well, you should like do this because I don't know what you're good at.
Right.
So my advice is just like, find your niche, and if you could like profit off that, then do it, And just like with entrepreneurship, that's just, you just have to find like a kind of like supply and demand kind of situation where it's like, I kind of just like did a shot in the dark and I was like, hey, like people need essays written, right? So then I'm like, yeah, that's like, there's a demand for that. And turns out there's like a huge demand for that I didn't really know about. Because there are like other essay writing like businesses, but then they're not like on a personal level. Like you don't really know who's writing your paper. Like with me, it's like I'm the only one writing your papers, and like they know who I am basically.
Has any of your clients ever like got caught or kind of like the professor suspected like, well, this is not your writing style?
Surprisingly not. Like I was kind of expecting like for people to be like, well, people actually do sometimes. They're like, oh, like, can you dumb it down because, like, I don't write as well as you.
Right.
So then I'll kind of like, I'll try to pick vocabulary that is more simple, but then like still answers a problem fully that like maybe that the client wouldn't have been able to do.
Do you have like chillin' bro and like that's essays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude instead of therefore.
It's lit.
Yeah, it's just like. I'm surprised. I'm shocked that like no one has really been that no one has been caught yet.
Yeah.
Just because it's plagiarism, but it's a risk that everybody is willing to take.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Hey, when it boils down to it, but it's due like in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And Adderall's out. You're out of Adderall. For like,
Yeah, it's just. And then another thing is like a lot of people will have me write like an essay at the beginning of the term, and then maybe my writing style is either too different, either that, or like I get a really good grade and they'll just like keep coming back to me and they'll just have me write their papers for like the entire term, just so that like their work is consistently good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. You remind me of those like ads on like on the internet where it's like, oh, all the dietitians hate this person.
Yeah.
It's like all the English teachers hate this person.
Yeah.
Like 10 tips on like how to, doctors hate this person because they can lose weight in 60 days,
Yeah. And it's like, I even try to like offer tutoring because sometimes people do feel guilty about like, they're like, oh, I don't really feel, like safe, giving your exact word. And I'm like, okay, like I can tutor you, I can like revise your stuff. Sometimes I'm like, man, because there was one time where a girl was like, oh, can you revise my paper? It's due tonight. And then usually revisions really don't take me that long, especially if I'm not the one like actually making the corrections. I just like highlight everything and I like add the notes in Google Docs and whatnot. And then this girl didn't know how to indent like her paper. So then I was like, oh, like your paper is like not indented. And she was like, what is that? And I was like, she was in college. I was like, okay, like I was like, okay, like you need to do like a lot of stuff.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
It
happens. That's great. Wish you the best with your hustle and success. You're doing well.
Thank you.
The last part of it, I guess. Let's circle back about the Shiba Block Pawty.
Yeah.
When is it?
Let's
Where
get
is
Mr.
it?
Miso up here.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sleeping.
I'm gonna say what's fine.
All right. This is
Miso.
my son.
When is the Shiba Block Party?
Okay, so it is October 6th of this year.
All right.
I believe the address is 2234 Temple Street. It's in like Filipino town. You can find it on like our social media and stuff. Yeah, basically it's a pop-up event, but like with Shibas.
Right. Okay.
You're not having it.
Okay. Is it free? How much is it?
So the tickets right now are $18, but you can use the code BOBA3, BOBA3 for $3 off. So it's $15. Awesome. Yeah.
Your favorite boba?
Favorite boba? Wintermelon milk tea. It's favorite.
Which one is it?
Wintermelon milk tea.
Okay.
That's like the ABG drink of choice.
ABGs? What are ABGs?
You don't know what that is?
No, some people may not know.
Okay, it's
I know.
Asian baby girls.
Okay.
I am not one.
Oh,
I'm a yappy, guys.
You're a yappy?
I'm a yappy.
You're a yappy? Oh my god.
No, I'm
Wait,
just kidding. You know what yappy is?
Yeah, so it's that. I saw that YouTube.
Yeah, it's a young Asian professional, for those of you who don't know.
I think there's a good yappy and bad. You can like do a little bit of both.
There's a good cop, bad cop situation with that.
But yeah, okay, so what's the social media? Where can I find you? Shiba Block Party or whatever.
For Shiba Block Party, it is at Shiba Block Pawty. Yeah. That's like the handle for everything. And for mine, Kyra Nguyen.
And let's say it's like, hey, I need help with an essay. How do I get in touch with a supposed person who does essays?
Okay, that person who shall not be named.
Okay.
Just DM me, and then we'll just figure it out.
Okay. All right. I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Check it out, Shiba Block Party. If you do essays, go to that person's Instagram because it's not this person.
She who shall not be named.
They who should not be named. Gender pronouns. I don't know.
It's Miso.
There you go, Miso.
Miso writes the papers.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. That was really good.
Miso boy.